Yesterday I talked about standing meditation and the secondary object of the walking, which is good if you learn how to take note of them, pay attention to them, how the body is moving or the legs are moving. If the primary objects sometimes they are not clear, it's good to observe the secondary objects. Now the whole purpose of this taking up these secondary objects is to make sure that the continuity of that mindfulness is still there. I also talk about the more detailed aspect on the sitting and touching. Then here, noticing this sitting and touching, how we take note of the sitting and touching, and how we note it a little bit more detail. And also we look into how this sitting and touching can be useful when we are drowsy or when we are having a lot of restless mind. Now today, another area of secondary object, but it looks like your primary object. This is on the sitting, not the walking. Because most of you, when it comes to the reporting of the sitting, you report that first thing, that one first. What do you think? Good. Pain here and there, that's right. No, actually in the reporting, interview reporting, you got to report like more or less a chronological event of how a sitting take place. Like for example, in the beginning, you note, what did you note first? Like, do you note the rising and falling, or after that you note sitting and touching, or the thoughts? Then the pain comes in. But most of you, it's like the pain goes first, and then after that, talk about the pain so much, and then rising and falling at the behind. Either you have a very passionate to report of your pain, or you really hate your pain. Okay, tonight we'll look into it a little bit more to see how we can able to deal with the pain and manage the pain better. And this is also, we begin to touch on the feelings aspect of this Satipatthana. Now in feelings, we can categorize the feelings in many categories, but usually we just categorize them as three types of feelings, as unpleasant feeling, pleasant feeling, and neither pleasant nor unpleasant. Here we just use the word neutral. Or we can expand it to 5, meaning that pleasant feelings, the unpleasant feelings can be bodily unpleasant feelings, mental unpleasant feeling. Then you have body unpleasant feelings, bodily unpleasant feeling. Then you have mental pleasant feeling, mental pleasant feeling. Then you have neutral feeling. Although we use the word bodily unpleasant feelings, although it's connected to the body, like what you are experiencing during the sitting, but still it falls under mental side of it. Now, understanding this unpleasant feeling, especially this unpleasant feeling, or these feelings, these feelings in general. Sometimes, or once in a while, I heard of monks, and they come out and say, "Why do you all come to the retreat and suffer all the painful feelings? Isn't it your retreat to come in and feel good and feel nice? Why come and suffer? Isn't it the world that your life has so much suffering, and then you want to come to a retreat and suffer more?" And then for those people without Dhamma, without understanding, then when you listen to it, it's logical, isn't it? But this is exactly what the Buddha says as delusion. So here you see, a lot of times we have this notion, this idea, is because that all of us, we don't like these unpleasant feelings, whether the body or the mind. In all our samsaric times, while we are born, die, in any form, in any rebirth, anything that is unpleasant, the mind totally dislike it. Anything that is pleasant, the mind attached to it. It feels normal to have aversion to all these unpleasant things, and very normal for us, anything that is pleasant, for us to attach to it. But when the teachings of the Buddha arises, when we understand the teachings of the Buddha, or when we practice, then there is an alternative of looking at these unpleasant feelings or the pleasant feelings. So here the mind as if step out and begin to view these pleasant or unpleasant feelings with wisdom and understanding. In a way, one is slightly free from that aversion or anger, or we're free from that desire or attachment. And with this also, with this pain also, then sometimes, actually not sometimes, many times, yogi judge their sitting. Painful sitting, not good sitting. No pain sitting, very good sitting. Sometimes when the yogi come into the interview room, and then they start their interview something like this. Yesterday I have a good sitting. When they start to say that, my mind is hard to be skeptical, because your good and my good can be totally different. The moment they start opening their mouth, they say that I'm sitting, I have completely free from pain, I have a very nice sitting, very pleasant, everything is just here and I just feel very good. That to them is a good sitting, but to me is your worst sitting maybe. Because they don't realize that behind all these pleasant feelings, they just attach to the whole sitting. And because of that, if there's nobody to guide them, they just do their own meditation in that way. Every sitting, every retreat that they go, whether at home or here, they just keep looking for this pleasant sensation, pleasant feelings of the body, and just as if you're in that cocoon, melt there and just feel good. Now, when it comes to these pleasant feelings, you see, pleasant feelings of the body or the mind, they are real, proper vipassana objects. Here we talk about concept reality. This is a real object. This is not a conceptual object. But the problem with these pleasant feelings is that they don't take note it thoroughly. They don't pay attention to it carefully. They don't see how it changes. They just and that's it for their meditation. When a yogi, also I met with sometimes some yogis, again they have this misunderstanding. They thought that a yogi or vipassana yogi shouldn't feel the pleasant feeling. Once in a while, this pleasant feeling do come in, but in the beginning of the retreat, beginning of the development of vipassana, usually it is not. Mostly it's day in, day out, pain, nothing but pain. So, so next time, if pleasant feelings come in, and you feel that you are calm, expanded, pleasant right here, you better note the pleasant feeling as pleasant, calming, open, whichever it is. Now, if you find that these pleasant feelings, you note it, and there's no changes, nothing much, it's better for you to come back to the rising, falling, sitting, touching. Once, if you're not careful with these pleasant feelings, the mind at the behind, it begins to attach to it. And when you get attached to it, you feel good. You want the next sitting to happen such a way, the next sitting and the next sitting. So sometimes once in a while, I met with yogis who just sit down and just feel calm and peaceful. And I ask them, how long have you have this feeling? 20 years. 20 years of just peaceful and calm. Then after that, what is there anymore? Then sometimes when they realize it, I'm not going anywhere. It's just peace and calm. What else is there? 20 years of spiritual development gets stagnant there. But sometimes they believe that they are doing it well. Sometimes, once in a while, I've also met that they begin to realize that they are not going anywhere. Then only the mind starts to open up. Whenever these pleasant feelings arises, whether mental or physical pleasant feelings, make sure you note them as carefully, as clearly, if they are prominent object. If they are not prominent, back again to the rising, falling, sitting, touching, and so on. Now we come to the bodily painful feelings that most of us are going through. Now before we have this, able to note these difficult feelings, if you do not have any form of mindfulness, this painful feeling, you cannot take it. Take a look at sometimes when we begin to meditate. When we begin to meditate, even like 20 minutes or half an hour, it's so difficult because the pain keep coming in. But over time, if you keep practicing, over time, you begin to see that you can sit longer in the sitting, and also you can tolerate the pain a little bit better. Sometimes, or not sometimes again, sorry, a lot of times, when the yogi report about their pain, about their sensation, about their painful feelings, without they realizing it, that sometimes there are certain misunderstanding about the pain. Although at times they are noting it, but then sometimes they just carry a little bit of misunderstanding about the nature of the pain. And this misconception or misunderstanding about the pain, every now and then we have to check ourselves, and again we have to remove them in order to see the pain as they really are. Now you see that we over here in the Vipassana, you are trained to note objects, whether it's pain, rising, falling, you have to note them, rising, falling sensation, or label them also. Now because they know this technique, when they apply to the pain, let's say this time the very strong pain arises, and then when they start noting pulling pain. Now here, when they are labeling it and they are noting it as they are still doing correctly, but something in the behind there starts coming up. They note the pain, not pulling, but the back of the mind, how come the pain is still there? I thought I noted you. When they note the pain, although directly in front there is noting, but behind it, they want the pain to go away quickly. So in other words, they are not really want to see the pain, they just want to use the noting to get rid of the pain. Because I know sometimes the pain can be painful, challenging. Now sometimes yogis have that experience of the past, maybe in a sitting or two, they note some pain, the pain actually gone away. So in this current pain, they thought that if they would just apply that noting, and hopefully the pain also go. You see your ulterior motive? Your motive is not fully 100% to see the pain as it is, but back of the mind is just want to get rid of the pain. Usually if that state of mind comes in, you have to catch hold of it, because this one, most of the time, it happens to most yogis. Do you have that? Good. At least you're honest. The next type of how the yogi misunderstood the pain. Another type of yogi. This type of yogi, he has developed a little bit better. But when it comes to the pain, when it comes to the unpleasant feeling, he or she does not want to get rid of the pain. Now, because he has certain understanding about, sometimes you listen to Dhamma talks about beginning, middle, end. Because some Dhamma talks is mentioned that objects has a beginning, middle, ending. Now, because he has that degree of understanding, then he expects that when he observes the pain, he wants to see how the pain actually ends or disappear. He got theory, one thing, and the object is showing him, or the pain is showing him another way. Because a lot of times when you are not ready to see how the pain ends, the pain will not show you how exactly it ends. You see, when you observe your pain at your stage, you see, before that one pain disappear, another pain already arises. And sometimes as if like this pain before it ends, this one arises, before this one arises, before this one ends, another one arises, as if like so many pain coming together. But sometimes the yogi have that knowledge, have that theoretical knowledge that he thinks that all objects must have an ending. How come? When I note the pain, I don't see the ending. Then here, expectation of what the object should be, rather than seeing it as it really is. So this is something you have to see them as they really are, not to expect it, how it begins, how it ends, or whatever. Just see them as they change or what is going on there. Another yogi. This yogi is like a fighter. When the pain comes in, they sit and they grit their teeth as if like they are going in a big battle with the pain inside there. You see, if you don't understand the way of noting, usually if a yogi asks to watch the pain, if they do not know how to watch the pain, they will just grit their teeth, stay there, and wait for the time to ring. So some yogis, after that, finish that sitting, very painful sitting, but then they feel very good because they can sit until 1 hour. They can tolerate the pain. If you were to take this meditation more seriously, in retreat after retreat, once in a while you will do that too. Especially when you sit until 55 minutes and then you look at your watch, still 5 minutes to go, and therefore I want to hit until that 1 hour before I get up. That is where you got. Now some yogis, when the pain comes in, they apply that very strong mindedness and just tolerate the pain until they can sit as long as they want to, or until the time's up. You see, again here, this is a kind of a misconception, is that when we take note of the pain, or when we observe the pain, we still need to tolerate them. But the next thing about the pain is that we have to examine the pain, investigate the pain, see the true nature, how the pain is changing, pulling, what type of pain is it this pain, that pain. Then this is the one that it turns into vipassana. So therefore, that you have to able to tolerate the pain, and at the same time we have to able to examine the true nature of the pain. Tolerating the pain here, it won't come in just because you do sitting meditation. A lot to do with have a connection with your walking, and especially on the lifting, pushing, dropping, and the time that you are involved in that lifting, pushing, dropping, or the third phase. When you take note of that lifting, pushing, dropping, if you just do like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then after that when you want to go to the sitting, you're going to have a hard time to tolerate the pain. Then if you were to lengthen it to half an hour or up to 40 minutes, then when you able truly do this thing, when the pain comes in during that time, then you find that your mind can tolerate the pain for a longer period of time. At the same time, you can able to scrutinize the true nature of the pain. But if you come into a retreat, you don't do this walking meditation thoroughly, every time the pain comes in that retreat, you just give up. Because you see, the moment you start your interview, even in the first day, I already know what background have you done, that when it comes to the pain, I already know what you have been doing about walking meditation. So, because we cannot take the pain, we cannot note the pain, then the mind doesn't have the confidence to pay attention to the pain. When the coming to the retreat, or when the pain comes in, then when you face the pain, the mind is always having some doubt, fear, and cannot sit on the floor, must sit on the chair, or more and more cushion. By the time you can able to take note of the pain, when you are more confident with the pain, you'll find that you begin to remove this cushion, you begin to remove that cushion, and by the end of the retreat, only perhaps just one cushion only. There's another misconception about yogis is that when they take up the pain, they take a look at it very far away. Far away, it means that you don't scrutinize the pain, you don't pay attention to the pain, you just let the pain as it there and your attention as if like here. Now when you do this way, the pain doesn't feel that painful. It's quite tolerable, you can sit there and okay, So if you just put your attention far, as if like it's far away. Sometimes they take this pain, and they treat it like they are very precious dog, and then very you try to rub it, you try to make it nice and just pleasant and just sit there, but you're not really paying attention to it, you just let it be there. They thought that they're taking up the pain, but actually they are not seeing the pain, they are just taking it not very far away. You see, again here we go back to the characteristic of that mindfulness. Mindfulness here has the characteristic of going near or face or confronting the object. That's why when you pay attention to the pain or the sensation becomes expanded. In other words, it becomes painful, strong, or whatever. When you do it in this way, then only the mind can able to discern the true nature of the pain, whether it's hard, soft, changing, or whatsoever. So make sure that when the pain comes in, don't try to make it far away. But you can try tomorrow just to see. At least you know. Next time, don't do it. Now, there's another type of yogi. Once in a while, not all the time. Now, this yogi is overzealous, very strong effort that they have. Some yogis, when the pain comes in, they can tolerate the pain, they can scrutinize the pain, but some of them have an idea that the pain must have a core, and then surrounding it, there's as if like all other pain shoot out from that core. So some yogis thought that because of pain, they have to keep on looking for the core. Sometimes what they do is that they begin to over push or overshoot the pain, because they hold on to that idea that all pain, all forms of pain must have that core. In reality, pain does not behave in that way, but sometimes once in a while it's like that. Sometimes pain, when you notice the pain, is like sometimes the pain is just spread out, but there's no core, it's just spread out. Sometimes it's just a pulling or one line of pulling, or sometimes it's just numbing, strong numbing, but there is no core. Because of these things, you have to keep the mind open that pain is got so many different types as it arises. So therefore you have to see the pain or to note the pain as they are, rather than what you think the pain should be. Another yogi here again, here he got many types of Dhamma, many types of Dhamma theory. Sometimes we learn about here you have metta meditation, you have perhaps other forms of meditation also. And perhaps also we learn about compassion or karuna, and also other Dhamma understanding or Dhamma theory. And now that yogi thinks that he's smart. So now, because he got so much Dhamma, when the pain comes in, then he start, may you be well and happy. Or you begin to tell yourself, because of the pain so strong, you have compassion for yourself. You are free from that suffering. There are people once in a while, I hear these things that When the pain comes in, they just take up any Dhamma that they like, especially this compassion, this metta, and they apply it to their pain. And the background of it is that they don't want to feel the pain. You're supposed to see the pain as they are, however it comes and whatever, not to put when you have a cut, you put that, what do you call that? Band-aid on it, Your metta is not a band-aid on your pain. So finally is that this metta or karuna thing, you have to put aside, because when you apply that metta, most of the time is that you just don't want to feel the pain so strongly, or you just dislike the pain, but the front here again is metta or karuna. So there are so many, this is some of the idea or misconception that people, yogis have, So it would be good that every now and then you have to check yourself. Are you truly paying attention to it, or there's some other ulterior motive is behind it? This misconception, this misunderstanding, if you are not careful with it, it becomes a habit. It becomes a strong habit that every time pain arises, let's say with the metta, every time the pain arises, if you are not taught to observe, you just want to apply metta for everything. And therefore, the progress of the vipassana will not go further. So therefore, the job for you to, when you observe the pain, is to truly just pay attention to the pain as they really are. When you watch your sitting, when you watch your rising and falling and so on, once in a while, if let's say the pain arises, and if it's not that strong yet, although you know it's there, but if it's not that strong and not that prominent yet, you don't have to keep going to the pain. You can still stay with the rising and falling, or sitting and touching, until the pain strong enough to capture your attention, then only you go there. So when it arises, let's say when it arises in the leg area, then you shift your attention fully onto the pain. For those especially beginners, when we deal with the pain, here we must have some courage and some bravery to truly face the pain. Because if you don't have that confidence or faith, therefore, even before you start noting the pain, you already the mind is already skeptical, doubt, and then shaky and so on. But if you're able to notice this thing and you put it aside, then the next one is to take note of the pain. Now, for example, just take a numb pain. Now, in taking up the pain, noticing any form of pain, or here let's say the numb pain, usually there are two aspects that you have to apply onto the pain. The first aspect here is that to see the kind of pain that you are going through. Is it a numb pain, or is it a sawing pain? Is it a hard pain? Is it a burning pain, etc.? If you're able to notice that pain is characteristic in such a way, then this time you put a labeling there, or you put labelings there, like if it's poking pain, then you're not poking. But sometimes you have no vocabulary for it because it looks funny but it's painful, so it's just not pain.
Però se a volte non ci viene il vocabolo giusto da usare perché magari è una cosa un po' particolare, non riusciamo a riconoscerla bene, allora usiamo dolore.
So this is the first thing, to identify this one. Now the second one is to see that whether the pain is growing or changing. Sometimes you notice the pain as if moving from one part of the leg and then you move another part of the leg. Sometimes you can see that the pain is, sometimes one spot it can grow stronger and stronger, sometimes it begin to diminish, and so on. Or sometimes the pain changes from one type of pain, then it goes to another type of pain, then this one becomes at the background. Here, sometimes 2 or 3 pain may be prominent, the same prominency, same, other word, same, they are painful. Sometimes 2 or 3 or 4 pain coming together. Your job is to see how the pain, what happened to the pain, how it changes, how it happened, or whether it goes to the back, what happened to it also, and see until time's up. We train here to note the pain. Up to 1 hour will be enough. Sometimes within an hour, perhaps like 20 minutes or half an hour, the pain can be strong. Now the whole purpose of this noticing this pain is to make that mindfulness become continuous and strong. You see, if you can take the pain, because the pain is a very strong object, and if your mind can stay with it, the more mindfulness is being produced because of that pain. The more stronger the object, the more mindfulness comes in. Just like when you do walking meditation, your objects are clear, mindfulness comes in. Here, when the objects are clear, like the pain, mindfulness also strongly come in. So pay attention to it as best as you can. But then, after a short while later, you are reaching your limit already. So when we come to the reaching the limit, this is where the mind starts to become shaky. Shaky here means you start thinking about the time. How long to go more? Do they forget to ring the bell? You will think of all these things just to get out of the pain. In other words, behind those thoughts, aversion has already arisen. Or there's another one. You begin to think that maybe the blood vessel has been contracted, blood cannot flow, therefore there's a lot of pain there. You start thinking that maybe I should let the leg go, stretch it out so that the blood can start flowing again, therefore I won't get any injury. Again here, aversion talking. You averse one thing, but you desire something else actually. You just desire something pleasant. That means you want to stretch the leg. So you got to watch out for that cunning mind. The mind will think of something, scheming something just to get you out of the pain. It will tell you that sometimes in the back of the mind, it will tell you, maybe I have previous injury here. Maybe I shouldn't sit that long. Exactly. It will just ask you to get out of the sitting. So don't underestimate when the mind starts a lot of thinking about the pain. So when this type of thoughts come in, you note it as aversion, or thinking. A lot of times this aversion comes together, or usually after a period of time. If you can able to note the aversion, if the aversion and the thoughts all begin to disappear, but the pain's still there, the mind can still go back and notice the pain until the time's up. But what if everything cannot already? Just too painful. Other words, you throw the towel already. Usually you just shift the leg. But as I said, this will be your last resort. More important, what I look out for when you noting your pain is that period when you're actually scrutinizing the pain. I know all of us will come to a limit, but what is important is this part here, because this part here, it will help you later on in the future as you're going into the practice. This time you're going to lengthen before all the aversion comes in. But if you have to change, let's say the leg, this time you have to bring in the noticing the intention. Then you want to change it, intention, you slowly lift up the leg. And the thing is that when you shift up the leg, you feel that the pain is slowly diminishing, and more or less the neutral feeling starts coming in, or pleasant feeling starts coming in. Then you keep noticing until you shift the leg into a better position. Then after that, back again to the rising and falling until we finish that 1 hour. Okay, we'll stop here. Tomorrow we'll continue a little bit more.
Sadhu, sadhu.